Hi, Tim Goldstein. It's going to be just a quick walk through our video studio we have in the basement and kind of go over the equipment and tell you a little bit about each piece as we go so that you know what they are, what they're for, where to get them from, and if you need it or not. Let me see if I can flip this camera around. Hmm. I guess once you start this way, you can't flip the camera around. So I'm just going to have to turn the camera around manually and hope that I'm actually getting good pictures of what it is that you want to see. So let's start with, I guess, right from the backdrop side. And as you can see, let's see on the backdrop there, looking along the top, you can see there's a roll of green, a roll of white, and a roll of black. And those are three different backdrop colors that we use. And you can get other colors. They're done out of heavy duty paper, which allows them to stay wrinkle free. I did end up putting a little bit of weights at the bottom. But what you have here on the side, I guess there you go, is kind of a mechanism that will hold the three and allow you to pull these chains up and down and crank up one and crank down the other backdrop, so they're easy to switch them back and forth. And then these are just clips that are locking them because I did add weight to the bottom to keep them from unrolling all by themselves. So that's how we handle the backdrop, is with the paper backdrops. And going to be shopping for a pastel color one for Karen because we've been told that that will be her color. And looking forward to seeing that. So now we'll kind of work our way. The next set of things that you really run into are the lights that are used to light up the backdrop itself. And for lights, we're using these barn door style lights, which are actually a brand name. So my guess is you're looking at the brand name upside down, but hey, maybe it's right side up. But I think you can read it there. It's called a flow light. And this is a fluorescent studio light. This one is model FL110HM. And that makes it a two bulb or a four bulb unit, I guess. It's actually two bulbs, but they're in a pair. And it has the barn doors on it with the reflector that gives you the very well dispersed light. I got them in the 5450K range. I like the white whites, not the red whites. So I get all my lights in the 5000K range. This comes with just a flow light comes just with the light itself. The stand is something that you do buy separately, and I don't know, trying to show you something about the stand. Really not too much to show you. It's just a basic stand, and looks like a music or light stand, whatever. But it does have up here on the top, it's just a threaded post that the flow light, which has a gooseneck bend here. There you go. You can see the gooseneck band. I got some clips stuck on it. Just goes and sticks onto that upright. So flow light is pointing back to the backdrop, giving you illumination on the backdrop. Then we have over here another of the exact same flow light. So we use a pair of those, lighting from the other side of the backdrop. And then I wanted to get some more fill over the back of the backdrop and took, this is what's called a softbox light. And, well, I'll show you the inside and what I can reach easier. A softbox uses compact fluorescence. And again, make sure that you get them all in the same color range. So I'm using the 5000K color range, the white color range. And this has a whole bank of the bulbs in there. And then it has diffusers. And I have it pointing to kind of fill the light into the middle of the background to give me a more even background lighting. So here, I'll just flip the lights on and maybe you can get an idea. So I think it kind of gives you a little bit, I guess, I don't know, a little bit of an idea. Getting some glare off of my iPhone camera, but we would normally be framed in, tighter and different. But at any rate, it gives you a little bit of an idea of how it lights up the back and how you can adjust it and make the lighting more even. So that's that side. Now let's go over to the other side where the shooting really happens. So on this side, we have two of the softbox lights, one on either side of the camera. And here we'll pop one open and kind of give you a little view of what it looks like. So you can see in there, there's a whole pile of curly Q fluorescent bulbs. And again, they're all the 55,000K. So these were actually marked at, there it is, 5,500K. So all that bright white light. And it's got that diffuser and this diffuser. So a two-layer diffuser along with a pebble grain and the aluminum reflector so that you get very shadow-free light. So one on either side of the camera, and those are shining, oh, guess I should keep kind of worried about where I'm pointing. So one on either side of the camera, and those are shining right at where the talent would be sitting, and you would have light coming this way. So, I don't know, we'll turn those on and see what you can see for a difference. So now you can see the red in the chair becomes much brighter, and we're lighting things up from this side. Now we've got all the light you'd ever want in the world. So now we get down to the real heavy-duty equipment. And as far as the soft boxes, the softbox lights, they're relatively inexpensive, and they come with their own stands. They're nothing super fancy heavy-duty, but they do the job. And I think the soft boxes for the set of 3 was about, because one is the boom. Well, no, that's not a boom one. It's a standard one. So this set of 3 was probably about $100, $110 for the soft lights. The flow lights, if I remember right, are about $150 or $160 per light, plus about $25 or $30 per stand. And as far as the backdrop, the rolls of paper are about $50 per roll. And it gives you, I think, about 10 versions of the backdrop. So as one gets dirty or torn, you just cut it off and you keep on going. And I think it was probably another $50 or $60 for the mechanism that is on the side over there, right there, to allow you to crank them up and down and change your backdrops real easily. So I think that catches up price-wise and all that stuff. Now we come over to, where the action really happens. And we use a 2-camera setup. The particular cameras we're using are happen to be Canons. And I don't even know if I see a model name on it. There obviously has to be a model name somewhere on this thing. We'll see if we can look from the side. It might say it there, but with my eyes and not having my glasses on, I can't quite read it if it is actually saying it there. But at any rate, they are not particularly expensive. Maybe it's on the... Oh, there we go. So this particular one is a Vixia, I don't know, Vixia, and then model HFR 600. And it's actually now probably a year or 2 old camera, so I don't know if you can even find the same one. The main and most important thing about it is that it has the ability to adjust the white balance and hold that white balance adjustment, which gives you the natural color lights. So anyway, we use 2 of these cameras, and the reason for using 2 cameras is, as you're recording with... I guess I'll look at you this way. As you're recording, if you end up having to make a cut and then you come back and you're going to start back in with another piece from where you picked up, if you only have 1 camera, there's almost always an obvious splice because you moved, you breathed, you did something that you're not in the exact same position. Whereas if you use 2 cameras, what you do is every time you have to make a splice, you flip from one camera back to the other camera. So it just looks like you're changing camera angles, and nobody's realizing that there actually was a stop, a cut, and a restart in between those 2. So just a little, hey, it costs a little bit more in hardware, but boy, it can sure save you and give you a much nicer product when you're all done. So on this side, again, we just go back to, we're using that Canon camera. And then I also run these little 7-inch monitors. which are hooked to the camera. So that's showing me exactly what this camera is seeing, which allows me to, as I'm standing back here and doing my video, I can see that right now the top of my head in this monitor over here is getting cut off. So I need to either sit down or tilt the camera up or do something. So very nice to get feedback to be able to see the monitors, and a lot easier to see that monitor than to see the little tiny one up there on the video camera. And those monitors I got from brought them in direct from Hong Kong, and I think I paid something like about $150, $160 a piece. And then I did need to make a little custom plastic part to make a bracket and change a bracket around. But that was it. Other than that, they plugged right in, and they're just wonderful, cute little monitors. Over on this side, which is now our main camera setup, it's the identical camera, but here we are set up with a teleprompter on it instead. And then to support all the additional weight, I had to go to a much heavier duty tripod. So the heavy duty tripod is the Amazon Basic, and I think price-wise it's about $75. Whereas the other tripod we're using for the secondary camera is just a real lightweight tripod, and I think that's like a $25 basic, cheapo off of Amazon again. But when we go to the one here with the teleprompter on it, right now I'm running the teleprompter to instead put and project the monitor, so that here as I'm standing and I'm talking to the camera, I'm actually looking directly at myself, and it makes it really nice that instead of trying to talk to a lens and imagine somebody being there, you're actually looking at yourself and you're talking directly into yourself and your own eyes. So it makes it a very, very easy way to get that projection out into the audience instead of looking like you're looking at the camera. And of course, if we want to, we can take the monitor off from being mounted up there, mount it like it is on the secondary as a monitor down here, and I can replace this with an iPad and actually run the teleprompter as a regular teleprompter. The last thing I guess to include in is we have, and it just ended up being one of the leftover stands as we changed some equipment around. We have here a stand, and on this stand you can see I've got just ends up being a sandpaper pack taped on there. But what that is the top of it's at the top of my head, and basically that's about where my face would sit. And this is what you would call a stand-in. So what it's real useful for is you're trying to focus the camera and set up a shot, just put the stand-in out there where you're ready to set up your shot, and now you know where to aim your camera so that you do get the top of the head included, which if we go back to here, you can see where I was getting cut off before. Hey, there we go. Stand-ins had just made it in. So if stand-ins had worked, hey, now you can see I can stand in the video, and there I am. My head's being included. So you can see how much quicker it is if you have a stand-in instead of running back and forth to the camera and standing back and saying, oh, go up, and then back out and look at yourself and do all those things. But that is our complete studio setup. The only last thing we have for just kind of a temporary around the house use stuff is I took what was originally the tripod that the main camera was on before we added the teleprompter, and the teleprompter adds enough weight and such that it, like I say, it needs that heavy duty one. So this is the old original one, and we have it set up with a phone mount, so you can just throw your iPhone or whatever Galaxy on there and shoot videos from a tripod. So we just keep that sitting around for you never know where in the house you're going to use it. So you've gotten the tour. I hope that covers everything. I think I pretty well went over the prices. Cameras, I think we paid per camera about $225 for a camera. The teleprompter was at $150, $175 range. And I think that covers it. Any questions, let me know. Bye now.